Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, St. Kitts and Nevis has the honor to deliver this statement on behalf of the Caribbean community, Caricom. Excellencies, today marks 30 years since the world gathered in Beijing to make a bold promise to women and girls that their rights would no longer be violable, their voices and experiences no longer silenced, their inclusion no longer negotiable, and their lives and expertise no longer devalued or overlooked. The declaration signaled the international community's political will to serve and honor an undeniable requirement of sustainable development, gender parity. However, 30 years later, if we appraise the delivered outcomes of our actions, we would find clear signs of regression, promises reneged, actions unfulfilled, and the spirit of the declaration underserved. Despite their indispensable roles, women and girls continue to face unequal burdens, limited opportunities, and persistent threats to their safety and autonomy. They are often relegated to the informal sector, underrepresented in political leadership, and disproportionately affected by poverty, climate change, and gender-based violence, realities that are escalated by the climate crisis. Notwithstanding, women and girls, especially in the Caribbean and across small island developing states, remain the fulcrum of our societies. Their stewardship and contributions are the axis which families, communities, and indeed nations turn. Acknowledging this, Caricom reaffirms its commitment to the full implementation and acceleration of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women, and all other frameworks geared towards the realization of gender equality. We must look at the numbers and decode the pictures that the data paints. It is estimated that by 2030, around 8.1% of women and girls will live in extreme poverty. Only 28% of women across the world serve as ministers of environment. Women only hold 26.9% of parliamentary seats worldwide. Globally, the wage gap persists, with women still earning 20% less than men for work of equal value. Women enjoy only 64% of rights that men do. Sobering realities. In the Caribbean community, we strive for political culture that prioritizes women in decision-making and leadership, evidenced by our 3 democratically elected female heads of government who we commend and celebrate, but we acknowledge that we still have far to go. Noting this, last Friday, St. Kitts and Nevis, through our co-leadership with Ireland, facilitated the passage of the resolution on the revitalization on the Commission of the Status of Women, a renewed commitment to women and girls. Translating intention into action can only be sustained with legislative and policy-backed reformations. As such, our region remains steadfast in the cultivation of gender-responsive policies and legislation and the review of outdated laws that perpetuate discrimination. Excellencies, we must recognize that equality has to be budgeted for and planned for, especially for SIDS with limited fiscal space. Caricom calls for increased accessible international financing that incorporates the needs of women, for gender-responsive climate action that acknowledges the pivotal role of women and girls in leading the charge against climate change. And we emphasize the need for a paradigm shift in our educational sectors and digital systems in alignment with the needs of women and girls. In closing, Caricom recommits its policy towards gender empowerment, resourcing through gender-sensitive climate financing, and accelerating the full force of political will. Another 30 years should not greet us speaking of potential and possibilities. Let us make good on our shared ambition to leave no one behind.
I thank the Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and now give the floor to Her Excellency